There's something magical about late summer in the garden. Today, I'm capturing that shift in a loose, layered watercolor and mixed media piece, inspired by my wild garden. Today, when I paint, I'm not trying to be realistic. I'm chasing a feeling. This piece is all about layers, building up soft color, adding expressive marks, and maybe even letting the scene drift toward abstraction. Hi, I'm Amy from Winterwood Studio. If you're new here, welcome. This is my little corner of the world where I create nature-inspired art, often mixing watercolors, acrylics, gouache, Inktense sticks, pastels, and all sorts of lovely materials to capture the changing beauty of the seasons and nature and birds and animals. That's really all my favorite stuff. So today we're going to be starting with very loose shapes, and we're just going to let the watercolor wander and mingle across the paper before we build up gentle layers of texture and detail. This is one of my favorite ways to work when I'm not feeling my best, or when I just need some space to slow down and breathe and take a breath and do some real self-care. We're going to be painting the very last of my summer blooms out in my wild cottage garden. Those really beautiful fleeting colors that drift in just before autumn wraps the world in her cozy, rich golden tones. We'll begin outside among the flowers for our first loose layers, and then we're going to come back inside and we're going to cozy up here in the studio and make lots more playful marks and textures, and we're going to use things like pastels and Inktense sticks and inks and watercolor pencils and whatever we feel like adding. And we're going to work on adding in some crunchy tactile strokes and sweeping free-spirited lines to bring the whole piece to life. And we're not working in a super realistic style today. Today we're going loose and just enjoying the process. It's one of my favorite things to do at this time of year. And speaking of season shifting, in just a few weeks we're going to be surrounded by the colors of autumn. One of my favorite things to paint during fall is trees. And I'm getting my acrylics out and getting ready to paint. I've been taking a super helpful class called Painting Trees Through the Seasons with Marianne Broom on Craftsy. And that's just perfect because Craftsy just happens to be the sponsor of today's video. In case you've never heard of it, Craftsy is your online resource for everything creative. They have over 2,000 classes in things like painting, drawing, knitting, sewing, quilting, baking, and so much more. I'm really enjoying the class on trees with Marianne Broom, and I started with the section on essential skills for sketching tree trunks, branches, and canopies, and it was filled with so many great tips, including how to capture bark texture, which was a real game changer for me. Right now, I'm really enjoying the section on how to capture the magic of changing leaves as I paint autumn trees, and yes, I did skip ahead to the autumn section, and I also can't wait to move on to the cozy winter painting section next. It has been such a hot summer. I'm looking forward to winter. If you'd like to try Craftsy, they've been super nice and given us a very special link. The first 1,000 of you to click the link in the video description will get a full year of premium membership to Craftsy for only $1.49. You can also scan the QR code that's popping up on your screen now. I think it's this side. Maybe it's this side. I'm pretty sure it's this side. If that's easier for you. This offer from Craftsy is super generous, so a huge thank you to them. It is valid for new members only, though, I think, so check that out. Anyway, I hope you like Craftsy as much as I do. So I'm just putting a nice wash of water down, and I did this multiple times because of the paper that I'm using, which I will talk about in a second. I always love this moment. The very first brushstrokes on the page. There's something calming about just watching the colors touch the paper and seeing how the paint flows and blooms all on its own. Even though I'm using inexpensive paper, I'm using the Canson Watercolor XL pad, which is a cellulose paper. And I did that because I didn't really want to worry about using expensive paper and ruining it. Even though I am using the cheaper paper, I am using my Daniel Smith watercolors because I felt like it. I used only 4 colors. I used Indigo, New Gamboge, Rose Madder Permanent, and Green Gold. For added texture, I used the actual tube of Green Gold watercolor and sort of scratched the paint into the surface of the paper, which sort of leaves some dips and divots in the paper, which then fill up with some extra pigment. It's a nice way to add texture to a watercolor and a fun technique. One thing I've been doing with all of my paints lately, whether it's watercolor or acrylic or gouache, is I've been mixing some colors on the paper. I find that it gives a really interesting sense of freshness and movement to mix on the paper, because there's like a range of tones all at once on the paper. It's not a smooth mix, and I've really been enjoying that. And I'm doing that here with some indigo mixed into the green gold. What's more fun than painting one loose watercolor? Painting two at once. And so that's what I'm doing here. I pulled off the top sheet and I put it aside to dry, and I'm getting started on a second one. And if you've never tried painting the scene twice at the same time, definitely try it. It's so much fun, and it really helps improve your art process. I try not to overthink it. I'm just enjoying the feel of the brush, the way the colors shift and mingle. This part is all about being in the moment and letting go, letting the watercolor lead a little. I'm also squinting at the flowers in front of me, and I'm not trying to see them more clearly. I'm trying to do the opposite. I'm trying to blur the details and focus on the bigger shapes, the movement, the light. It's like translating a feeling onto the page instead of a photocopy. I'm being really careful not to put any pressure on myself to make it right. I'm doing loose, scrubby strokes and purposely trying to not copy what I see so that there's no feeling of getting anything wrong. I just want soft marks, color flowing, and a quiet kind of joy in just letting the paint do what it wants. And this is about all we did outside. I had planned to take it out to do the next layers outside the next day, but it was a cozy, rainy day, and we'll get to cozy up in my studio and do all of our fun mixed media layers next. I'm just popping in to let you know that September in my Patreon is all about autumn woodland birds, and we're going to be celebrating the cozy return of cooler weather with paintings of migrating songbirds, owls, and the golden tones of the fall forest this month. We're going to be loose sketching and playing with watercolor and acrylic and gouache and layered mixed media to capture all that good crunchy autumn magic. There's going to be behind the scenes videos. There's going to be some draw and paint alongs. There is a new community chat where we can talk, the studio gathering where we can connect and share all of our creations. So if you want to dive into this month's theme with me, come join Winterwood Studio on Patreon. I'll link it right below in case you want to check it out. So as soon as I had everything laid out, I realized I wanted a little more watercolor detail. So I am going to squeeze out, I don't think I even used any green gold in this part. I think I just used the Indigo, the new Gamboge, and the Rose Madder Permanent. Again, these were my Daniel Smith watercolors. I'm really just adding in a few brighter pops of color and just a few defined strokes here and there, but I'm still trying to be really loose, really free, and really just enjoying this as, you know, sort of a therapy or self-care, and not focusing on details. But I'm also trying to find a new way of working or a new style. I don't exactly know. I'm not going to get into it. I've got a video up. I realized earlier this year that I was making art for the wrong reasons and making art to please other people and for other people's approval, and not actually what I enjoyed making. So I've been on a journey of exploration this summer, trying to find out what I really do like and what I enjoy and what's truly me. I can link that video. I think there's 2 videos about it maybe up. I can link those down below in case you want to check those out to learn more about that. Once the watercolor has dried, I really love coming back in with mixed media. Pencils, pastels, Inktense sticks, whatever feels right in the moment. In this one I used my Albrecht Dürer watercolor pencils, and I used some Inktense sticks. I think that's all I used. I don't remember if I took anything else out. There's something really magical about it. The way the soft watercolor becomes a base, and then you can carve into it, build on top of it, add texture and movement and energy with each new layer. It's where the looseness of watercolor meets the control of drawing. It's a moment where I can respond to the painting and not just plan it. I can follow the hints left behind by the first washes, emphasize certain shapes, or let my lines wander and play. For me, it's these layers that make the piece feel more alive and give it that little sparkle, that sprinkle of magic. It's like it's grown and evolved rather than been forced into place. And honestly, it just feels good. The act of switching tools, making new marks, letting the piece surprise me a little, that's the part that makes me want to keep painting again tomorrow. One of the things I love most about layering mixed media over watercolor is how every tool leaves its own kind of mark. A soft pastel will catch the texture of the paper, leaving these dry, powdery smudges, while a watercolor pencil glides more smoothly, giving crisper lines, but you can still melt it into a beautiful wash with just a bit of water. Inktense sticks feel bolder and more expressive, especially when dragged across dry paint or dabbed right into a wet spot where you can get like a really thick, creamy texture. The paper itself plays a role too. Rough areas grab color differently than smoother spots, so the same mark might look soft and subtle in one place and bright and sharp in another. It's like a whole language of textures layered on top of one another, each one adding something new to the story of the painting. And honestly, I feel like I was missing a lot of this when I was making art for the approval of others, and I just missed out so much on the process. And working in this new way is so much more enjoyable, and I just sink into it, and I really feel like I'm a part of the piece and not just watching it unfold and not really taking part in it. So I'm just about done here, and I'm going to be finishing up with the final marks, going back and forth between the two pieces, and looking for a sense of rhythm and harmony. I like these very much, but it was never about that. It was about the process for me for this one. But I do like these, and that's something I've struggled with as I try to get away from that super realistic art that I was making. I still struggle with feeling like if it's not super realistic, it's not worthwhile, and it's not good art if I'm not doing something that has a photorealism level of realism. And it's funny because I love loose and more abstract pieces. When other people do it, it's still that sense of fear of approval and judgment that is getting to me at the end. But I actually really like these, and I love the burst of color and the feeling, and I think I'd be happy to hang them on my wall and enjoy looking at them in the cold winter months. So that's really how my late summer garden came to life in loose watercolor and mixed media. A quick reminder, if you'd like to join me for more behind the scenes painting sessions, sketchbook tours, creative challenges, monthly themes, prompts, all of that good stuff, you can find all of that over on my Patreon, which is called Winterwood Studios Wild Brush Club. I renamed it. It's where I share my process in more depth plus extra inspiration you won't see anywhere else. And the link's right down below if you want to check it out. Thank you so much, everybody, for spending this creative time with me here today. I'm really glad you're here. Thank you for being here and supporting my channel. If you've enjoyed this video, I'd really love it if you could leave a comment, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't yet so you don't miss the next cozy painting session. See you next time, and until then, happy creating.